"Night lies over Isengard," said Treebeard.
In the heart of the ancient forest of Fangorn, Treebeard stood tall and resolute, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. The air was filled with the rumbling of marching feet as countless Ents and Hjorns gathered around him, their faces grim and their branches ready for battle. Isengard loomed in the distance, its dark spire a stark contrast against the lush greenery of the Entwood.
We come with roll of drum. Ta runda, 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 rom.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange glow over the ring of Isengard, Treebeard raised his voice in a deep, booming roar that echoed through the wood.
To Isengard.
The Ents answered with a chorus of war cries, their voices blending with the rustling leaves and creaking branches of Fangorn forest. With a resounding crash, they surged forward, their massive limbs swinging in great, sure strides.
To Isengard. Though Isengard be ringed and barred with doors of stone, though Isengard be strong and hard, as cold as stone and bare as bone, we go to war, to hew the stone and break the door. For bowl and bow are burning now, the furnace roars. We go to war, to land of gloom with tramp of doom, with roll of drum, we come. To Isengard with doom we come, with doom we come, with doom we come.
The ground trembled beneath their feet as the Ents descended upon Isengard, their fury unleashed upon the once formidable fortress. In the days before the first rising of the sun, Aula, the smith of the valor and creator of the world's mountains and caverns, brought forth the dwarves from the depths of the earth. These stout and sturdy beings bore a deep affinity for stone and metal, becoming masters of mining and craft. However, to fuel their forges and craft their wondrous works, the dwarves required trees for their fires. This need for timber sparked a conflict between Aule and his wife Yavanna, the queen of the earth. As the Valar of growth and nature, Yavanna lamented the felling of the trees by the dwarves, fearing for the fate of the forests and the balance of the land. She longed to ensure the protection of the trees and the harmony of the woodlands, which she held dear to her.
My heart is anxious, thinking of the days to come. All my works are dear to me. Shall nothing that I have devised be free from the dominion of others?
Drawing upon the wisdom of Manwë, the lord of the Valar, Yavanna sang her thoughts into existence, envisioning beings who would safeguard the woods, tend to the trees, and preserve the balance of nature. And so it came to be that by the will of Eru Ilúvatar, the Ents were made. Legends swirled around the origins of the Ents, weaving a tapestry of mystery and wonder. Some whispered of them as ethereal souls sent to inhabit the trees, while others believed they were separate beings who took an arboreal appearance, making a gradual change born from an abiding affection for the woodland realm. Their deep, rumbling voices echoed through the trees, a hymn that spoke of the eternal cycle of the growth and renewal they embodied. With every step they took, the bond between the Ents and the land deepened, embodying the harmony and balance that existed between all creatures. A sacred connection bridging the Valar, the earth, and the children of Ilúvatar. The Ents were not left alone in their existence, for there were given to them entwives. Unlike their male counterparts, the entwives had a love for cultivation and agriculture, and they tended to the gardens and fields that dotted the landscape, their hands skilled in coaxing life from the earth. The Ents and the entwives lived in harmony, their bond deep and symbiotic, each complementing the other in their shared love for the natural world. But as the ages marched on, a shadow fell over the land, and the entwives felt the call of distant gardens and untamed lands beyond their home. They yearned to explore new fields and plant new seeds, to create gardens of their own making. And so, one by one, the entwives left their homes, setting out on a journey that would take them far from the familiar groves and woodlands they had known. The Ents watched cheerlessly as their kin departed, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that they might never see their beloved entwives again. For years they searched the land, calling out in their resonant voices, but the entwives were lost to them, their whereabouts shrouded in mystery. And as the seasons turned and the years rolled by, the Ents felt a deep sense of loss, for without the entwives, there could be no new Entings to continue their kind. And so, the Ents mourned the passing of their beloved companions, their voices rising in mournful song as they wandered the forests alone, their hearts heavy with grief. They carried with them the memory of the entwives, their laughter and their songs, their gentle touch and their green fingers that brought life to the earth. And as they stood beneath the whispering boughs of the ancient trees, the Ents knew that a part of themselves had gone with the entwives, leaving a void that could never be filled. They remained the last of their kind, the guardians of a world that was slowly fading into memory, their race dwindling with each passing year. Step into the enchanting world of Tolkien, where even the smallest person can change the course of the future. Stay tuned for more exciting adventures by subscribing and turning on notifications. In the Third Age, in the bosom of Fangorn Forest, dwelt the oldest and wisest of all the Ents, Treebeard. His voice boomed like thunder and his eyes gleamed with primordial knowledge. It was to him that the hobbits Merry and Pippin came, lost amidst the wood, seeking shelter and safety from the war that raged in the lands beyond. As the hobbits told their tale of the treachery of Saruman and the destruction of Isengard, Treebeard's brow furrowed with anger, his slow and deliberate movements quickening with purpose.
Curse him, root and branch. Many of those trees were my friends, creatures I had known from nut and acorn. Many had voices of their own that are lost forever now, and there are wastes of stump and bramble where once there were singing groves. I have been idle. I have let things slip. It must stop.
With a solemn nod, he called upon his Ent brethren to gather, to seek justice for the wanton destruction wrought by Saruman's hand. And so it was, after much deliberation, that the Ents stirred from their long slumber and took up arms against the forces of evil. Their limbs moved with a slow and calculated purpose, their eyes ablaze with righteous fury, as they marched upon Isengard, the evil citadel and breeding ground of Saruman's Uruk-hai. The earth trembled beneath their feet, the trees shivered in anticipation, and the very air seemed to vibrate with the power of the tree shepherds. The Ents descended upon Isengard with a mighty crash, their voices blending in a defiant chorus that shook the very foundations of the fortress. Treebeard's thunderous bellow echoed off the stone walls, striking fear into the hearts of Saruman's followers. With a deep rumble, the Ents used their incredible strength to demolish the dam of the river Isen, unleashing a torrent of water that flooded the ring of Isengard. The rushing waters washed away the remnants of Saruman's power. The symphony of destruction created by the roaring water and battle cries of the Ents echoed through the darkness, marking the end of Saruman's reign. In the aftermath of the battle, Isengard lay in ruins, its defenses shattered by the might of the Ents. Treebeard stood amidst the wreckage, his eyes somber and his heart heavy with the weight of the destruction that had been wrought. As the last echoes of the battle faded, the Ents turned their gaze to the horizon, their minds already turning to the next chapter in their long and storied history. After the defeat of Sauron and the crowning of Aragorn as King Elessar, a new age began in Middle-earth. The king and his companions journeyed to Orthanc, where the Ents awaited them with a mix of solemnity and kindness, their eyes revealing ancient wisdom and a touch of sadness. With a tone of respect and gratitude, Aragorn thanked Treebeard and his kin for their bravery and sacrifice. As a gesture of goodwill, he offered the valley of Isengard to the Ents, wishing for their forests to flourish in peace, serving as a sanctuary for their kind. Yet, amidst the parting, Treebeard's gaze grew melancholic. He expressed his sorrow over the future of his kind, a deep longing evident in his voice.
Forests may grow, woods may spread, but not Ents. There are no Entings.
Aragorn sympathetically suggested that they search for the entwives in distant lands, to the west or east, in lands that had long been forgotten. However, Treebeard, with a heavy heart, declined. He believed the journey was too far, and the presence of men made it too risky. As Aragorn and his companions bid farewell to the Ents, a silent understanding passed between them, acknowledging the lingering sorrows and uncertainties that persisted in the world, despite the victory they had achieved. In the years that followed, the Ents gradually withdrew further into their holts, their numbers dwindling as they became more reclusive and mysterious. Tales and rumors whispered among the trees hinted at sightings of lone Ents wandering the lands, their wisdom and strength fading with the passing of time. Over the centuries, the memory of the Ents became shrouded in myth and legend, with many believing them to have vanished from the world entirely. Some spoke of greenwoods where the trees moved of their own accord, guided by unseen hands and voices from the past. As the ages passed, the once mighty Ents became a subject of fascination and reverence, their existence woven into the songs and stories of the people of Middle-earth. Some claim to have caught glimpses of towering figures moving through the woods, their forms blending seamlessly with the trees around them. And so, the fate of the Ents remained an enigma, a mystery that endured through the ages, their presence lingering in the whispers of the wind and the rustling of leaves. Perhaps one day, a new generation would stumble upon the lost forests of the Ents, discovering the truth of their fate and uncovering the hidden legacy of these ancient tree shepherds. Embark on a thrilling journey through Tolkien's intricate world of heroes, hope, and darkness. Join us as we uncover the depths of his universe and unravel the most intriguing aspects of his creations. Subscribe for captivating stories ahead. Until next time, farewell.